There's been atrocities and ethnocide against Kurds in Turkey, Iran, Syria, Iraq. Remember Halabja and Saddam Hussein just started gassing Kurds, killing Kurds. I mean, doing all kinds of stuff. And yet the Kurds got weapons from America, other places. And by the way, when the French and English created this monstrosity called the Middle East with the Sykes-Picot Agreement in 1916, 1917, they set it up where the Kurds would not have their own state. So the Kurds are parceled again between Iraq, between Jordan, between Syria, between Turkey, between Iran. And they're not liked in any of those countries. So the Kurds are one of the groups that some of the Kurds, at least, will not be very favorable towards the government of Iran. I'm not saying Kurds are necessarily repressed. I'm simply saying there's a possibility, the same way the Kurds aren't happy in Turkey, where their language and culture is repressed, where they do all kinds of things that have been quite terrible. In Syria, the Kurds aren't necessarily trusted or liked. And you also need to understand that there are various minorities, like people who might be Christian, who may not feel great about the Kurds because the Kurds helped kill the Armenians in Turkey back when Turkey had its genocide in 1915, 1916 of Armenian Christians. So the Armenians don't have a whole lot of love for Kurds. So you've got all these things working. The Kurds are on the west side. And on the southwestern corner of Iran, you've got people that are Iranians, but they're Arabic in Khuzestan, where the oil is. Some of them have issues with being in Iran. And when Saddam Hussein went in, remember back in 80, 81, 82, they went in, they had this long war. Maybe 1 million, maybe 2 million people died on both sides. Hundreds of thousands of people died. Saddam Hussein wanted to get the Arab-speaking or the ethnic Arab people, they're called Marsh Arabs, and there's some overlapping between the people in that area. He felt like that was that. Plus, he wanted to control the waterway, the Shat al-Arab, where the ships would come through to sail out into the Arabian Gulf, if you ask some people, Persian Gulf, if you ask others. And that just piss everybody off, right? This person here is really stupid. I'm tired of you. Go away. There you go. Bye, racist. So you've got those people that have their issues. In the northwestern corner of Iran, you have people that are Azeri. 20% of Iranians are Azeri. Azeri are kind of Turkic type people. You've got Azerbaijan. They have a whole country rich in oil, an American ally with bases and all to spy on the Iranians. Even Raisi, this most recent trip, was messing with the matrix because they were in the Azeri areas, like the Iranian parts of the parts of Iran where the Azeris were, where they were doing development, dams, they're trying to improve the infrastructure and all. This improves the status of the government. It improves relations with Azerbaijan, and it undermines America's effort to use all of the nations surrounding Iran as proxies to spy and to launch things against Iran. And like I said, 20% of the Iranians are Azeri. Ayatollah Khamenei, the supreme Ayatollah of Iran, is Azeri, in case you didn't know that. So you've got them, and some of them wouldn't mind being with the fellow Azeris instead of being under Iranians. I'm not saying that they're necessarily treated badly, but everybody may want to gravitate towards where they feel most comfortable. So you've got them on the northeast. I'm sorry, the northwest corner. You've got the Kurds in the northwest central part. You've got the Arabic-speaking Iranians down in Khuzestan. And way on the east side, you've got the Baluchis. And the Baluchis have a group called Jundallah. They've got a group that wants to break off from Iran. And there's a group within Pakistan that's a Baluchi nationalist group that wants to break off from Pakistan because they've got the mineral resources and the wealth, but they don't get any of the money, which is concentrated in the northern part, in the Punjab, in the big cities, and they don't benefit. So these people do a lot of stuff like bring dope into the country and other things because they don't like the government. They want to break off. And they get support from other people to attack the Iranian state. I'm bringing all this up to say there are lots of people who have a bone to pick with Iran, okay, that are local that can be tapped on to do dirty things. Okay, and I'm not blaming who did the most, who screwed who the most. I'm just saying it's there. And I want to remind everybody just a few months ago that Iran bombed what they called a nest of spies among Kurds. They said there was a Mossad base and they used a precise missile and they blew up everybody in the building. They like took out a whole group of Kurds. We don't know what they were doing from that building. We don't know how some of this technology this guy was talking about, electronic, magnetic pulse weapons, we don't know what people can do these days with technology because a lot of us are lay people. But they're obviously doing something for them to want to blow up that specific building and have it pinpointed. We also need to remember in the early 70s that the Iranians stomped the Kurds. I believe Kissinger, someone we talked about, they encouraged the Kurds to do something and the Kurds rose up and they got beat down. So a lot of people have issues with the government.